everyone, this is Steve Weintraub with Collider, and I am thrilled to be with the people behind Bruiser here at the Toronto International Film Festival. I want
Thank
to
you for having
start
us.
with congrats on the movie to all of you, and congrats on being part of this tremendous festival.
Hey.
It is, I love this place. It is just such a great celebration of movies. I hate doing the generic thing at the beginning, but because everyone watching will have not seen the movie yet, who wants to bite the bullet and say how they've been describing the film to friends and family?
The director, of course.
I'll do it. The film is basically about a 14-year-old boy who comes back from boarding school and gets caught up in this conflict basically between a charismatic loner who he meets, who lives on a houseboat, and his father. And it's about these two men who have a past and who know each other, kind of fighting as this kid kind of enters their lives. And it's a movie kind of based in that world. So yeah.
One of the things I'm so curious, obviously everyone reads, and if you're an actor, you read a lot of scripts, you hope to get a role. For each of you, what was it about the script that you most resonated with that said, oh my God, I really want this part?
Monica, I like that she's an empath. You get to see all sides of her. And unconditionally, she loves these three different men very differently. And she has exactly or knows and understands what each person needs. And so it was very fun to me to show that versatility with each actor that I would share the screen with.
Um, for me, it was the fact that Darius is like going through a lot and a bunch of emotions like in every given moment. So that to me felt like really good to try to portray and bring his truth out.
And for me, it was holistically the duality between the two fathers and the polarities, and having the opportunity to be a part of something that showcased that, and the fact that it's about a father's love for his son, two fathers' love for their son. That's reflective of my life because my son was just born a year ago, so this is like a birthday present to him for me. So it's all encompassing.
One of the things that struck me was that, and I don't like to do spoilers or get specific, but the opening shot of the movie has three people in the grass. And I'm just curious, how did you decide that that's how you wanted to open the movie?
For me, it was always like a kind of thematic thing. I knew I wanted an image that was like quick and striking, that you could kind of be like, okay, this is the movie. It's these three men, or someone becoming a man in a certain way, lying there, kind of, I guess, could be dead or it's like there's a lot of different kind of things you could take from it. But I wanted like a striking image that kind of sets a tone for the movie and to show the audience this is probably what they're going to see for the rest of the time in terms of the themes, in terms of the visual imagery of what's going to come next.
I have a follow-up for you. Another aesthetic choice that you made with the film was shooting at 4:3. And I'm curious if your producers or the people financing it at any point said to you, I don't know about this. Like, was that actually a battle?
It was not a battle. It was not. I was very, very clear about it from the beginning. I had done a short film, also titled Bruiser, which was in the same aspect ratio and the same format. So they knew what I wanted, and they knew that I was important to kind of creating the kind of claustrophobia of these two men as their grip on one biological father and one stepfather, grip on their son, loosens and they feel more and more trapped and caged. And so it was never really necessarily a battle. It's kind of, we always knew it needed to happen for the movie to kind of feel the way we wanted it to.
For the cast, I'm imagining when you're reading the script and you're looking at the shooting schedule, there's a day or two on the shoot that you have circled, meaning like it might be a tough day, it might be emotional, it might pull something out of you. For each of you, what was the day and also for directing, what was the day on the shoot that you're like, this is going to be a tough day?
I think mine was my scene with my mother. it was very intense and kind of out of, I'm not gonna say out of my character, but it was a place that I had to go that I don't usually visit. Trying to keep it vague here. But they know what I'm talking about, and soon the audience will know what I'm talking about. But it was a very like stuffy, intense moment that I knew that I would have to perform.
For me, I'll say the diner scene where you come in. That to me was a lot of dialogue and a lot of beats. And as an actor, I want to make sure that I'm covering every beat. And I was very terrified of that scene. But when we got there, the way that we flowed, I was very appreciative of just letting go and just feeling the rhythm of the scene. So, yeah, that was me.
And for me, man, I just never really associated like that. I'm just present and it's peaceful. I'm chilling always.
I wish I could be like that, but no. I for me it was the ending when we had 2 days to shoot the ending. I'm not going to say what happens, but it was it was a challenge. It was cold. It had a lot to do, little time, and it was like this big sequence, and I was very terrified, but we got it done. So
one of the things, the film, when I was watching it, it felt like I was watching real people talk about real things, like very natural dialogue. Was anything tweaked when you started doing, I don't know if you did any rehearsals or if you did any table reads, or how did you make it so it felt as organic as it could be while you're delivering? You know what I mean?
yeah, no, totally. Yeah, you're right. It was a lot. I think a lot of the dialogue was, especially Travante, definitely like took my dialogue. he basically took my dialogue and interpreted it and put it through his own mouth, and it was like would sound completely and feel completely different, and that in of itself created, I think, something very authentic. And I mean, all of you guys, I mean, so like maybe not to the degree that Travante did, but Jalen would be like, I don't know if I'd say this, and I'm kind of one of those directors that's like, great, say it how you would say it. And I like to make sure that if they feel comfortable saying stuff in the way they would do it or the way that they think their character should, I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm not very precious about the script, and I think it helps getting some more naturalistic kind of dialogue and performances.
So this is not a spoiler, but part of the movie takes place on a Ferris wheel, which is not an easy place to film because it's moving around and it's very tall. So I'm just curious if you could talk a little bit about filming on the Ferris wheel and what it was like trying to get the shots that you wanted, because it's not, you can't have a crane following that thing.
Yeah,
that is not.
No, that's a good question. Yeah. It was tough. I knew I wanted to be on the Ferris wheel with them, and I knew it was really important. Basically what we did was just kind of like rigged a little camera, on front of it, and then it would kind of go around with them and keep us in that place. But it was a tough shot, just because I was like, oh, I want to like stay with them and just go around and around and around. And so, yeah, it ended up just being, we just rigged to the front of it and then put on a really wide angle lens so we could see as much as possible. And then I just let them do their thing,
I'm curious for you guys, when you're filming the Ferris wheel stuff, is it one of these things where like you want to get through the scene as quick as you can because you're like, I don't want to keep going on the Ferris wheel, or were you sort of like, this is a great night, I want to keep going? Like,
Absolutely not. I was having the best time on there.
Yeah.
Like, it was, no, don't get me wrong, it was cold, very cold, but I was having a lot of fun. I told them, like, before the night was over, I was like, I'm riding one of these rides. So luckily I did.
Yeah, ditto, man. It was so beautiful. Like, some of the times, like, the money would like hit my mouth. It was just such a beautiful, like, it was just a beautiful moment, and it was cool. It was real cool.
I'm always curious about how films change in the editing room, the editing process specifically, because that's where everything comes together. So I'm curious, what did you learn from any friends and family screenings that impacted the finished film, and when did the three of you actually see it? At what point in the edit?
So in terms of the edit, it was a very interesting process. I mean, it's my first film, but it was a lot of, basically I shot very specifically. We didn't have much time. We didn't have much money. So the things I shot, it was very like planned out. And, we did end up rearranging a lot of stuff, but a lot of it stayed how it was written and how I wanted it to be. After the first kind of test screenings, I think the major thing was just pacing stuff. I think we sped it up a little bit, not too much, but like, the main thing was just streamlining some things, and some stuff at the beginning and some stuff towards the end. And so, but there were no like major kind of like changes in terms of like scenes or anything like that. I think it was just kind of, we had a plan and we stuck to it, and then we tweaked small things, you know. But yeah.
When did you guys see it?
About the same time they'll be.
These two haven't seen it yet. These two haven't seen it.
Oh, so you're seeing the premiere?
You've seen it at the premiere.
Yep.
Are you scared, or are you sort of like, it's going to be
I'm
amazing?
excited.
I'm excited
Very
as well.
excited.
I'm very excited.
Did you do this? So you did it on purpose? You wanted to wait, or they didn't want?
Well, the movie like has a. I finished it like a week ago.
Oh, it's one of those.
You know,
Oh,
it's one of those.
got
It's one of
it.
those,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it's like I'm like, might as well just see it when we screen it in the theater with the sound, because it literally just, the sound was finished like last week. You know.
Oh, I mean, not to bring in another thing, but like a lot of things, like that Stranger Things recent season, like the Duffers told me they finished it like the day it came out. Literally, they were uploading a tweak to like the Netflix server. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
You know, this is
Yeah.
obviously not a VFX movie, but you get what I mean.
I mean, but that's
Right.
also the benefit of like today and making films today, like making music today. You can like edit it right then, and you always, how artists are too, always tweaking. As long as you give them time, they can always,
Well, a lot of people talk about the fact that like you literally have to have it pulled away from you
Yeah,
because like you'll keep
Yeah,
going.
I was gonna say, it's like you kind of have to decide when you're gonna stop doing your tweaks, which is, I had like, it was good because I was like, oh, use the festival to kind of, this festival to be like, okay, it's happening now. I have to stop making tweaks, you know?
No, completely. For all four of you, what are you most excited for audiences to see with this movie?
I mean, I'll start. I think Miles is really is a really interesting, really unique, very understood, very intelligent, very beautiful voice that I've been yearning for. Like I aspire to direct, so I've been writing and getting myself in that way because that's the energy that I want to convey. So to have the opportunity to be a part of it, as well as obviously be able to see it. I've seen it a couple times, and just to know somebody like that, it's really cool because I think he's got a lot of wonderful, wonderful pieces to share with the world, for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Miles has taken something, social media, World Star has desensitized people to, to human beings. And I love that he has brought humanity to these three Black men, and people get to see how tender they are, and they get to see that people aren't just violent. It comes from something, so I'm very excited to be a part of this. And this is just the beginning of someone who's very young and well beyond their years. So I feel like I'm a part of something.
He's 55.
He's 50. That's young.
This
In
is all
spirit,
Botox.
in spirit,
In
in spirit.
I've had a lot of work done.
Oh my God. But yeah, so much ahead of you at 55.
Well, I'm not as wise as him, but I think that a lot of the world is black and white right now. Like what's good and what's bad. And at first glance, like when I was just chopping it up with my mom, like before even, because my mom, like before y'all, I'm just tell y'all now, she do not look at the script. So she'd be like, oh, for real? So I was chopping it up with her about the scripts. And at first she was like, what? Like she was going on the roller coaster, but hadn't even seen any, I'm just reading the lines. But she was just like, so who's crooked? Like who's the bad person? But that to me, it's like, there's no bad or good. It's just emotions that drive you to do certain things. But from the blind eye, you'll see, oh, he's the villain and he's the hero, but nobody's the villain or the hero. So I feel like when you see this, you'll definitely see a lot of those tidbits where you're like confused on what's bad and what's good, what's right. But at the end of the day, like you said, humanity, everybody's human and they make choices. So just opening everyone's eyes to that when they see it.
That boy wise.
Yeah, right.
That boy
That's
wise.
a better answer that I could ever give to anything I ever spoke about. I'm just going to give you props.
I love that. For me, it's very simple. It's so for people to see these performances. I think the dedication and the talent of this cast, I've been so lucky. all of them are just bringing these characters to life in such incredible ways, and I'm excited for audience to see Black characters that are, have morals that are what Jalen just said, the less so like stock good bad characters, and people that feel real and like have real like goals and drives, and do things that are wrong and make bad choices, and yeah, I'm excited for people to see these kind of characters that I've written over the past 6 years and fallen in love with, and are really excited that they've been brought to life in such an incredible way. So yeah.
On that note, I'm just going to say thank you so much for coming into our studio today. I really do hope this is a huge hit for you guys. I hope a ton of people watch it, and I wish you nothing but the best at the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.